So let's talk about the tortured artist archetype, because I recently realized that I not only identified with this archetype for most of the time that I've been writing, but I kind of felt defined by it. And I've been writing poetry since I was about 12 years old. First poem I wrote was just like a short 8-line thing for an English class assignment. I wrote 2. And I remember, like, when I was reading them, I got some good, I don't want to say reviews, because I was just reading it in class to my classmates and my teacher, but, it was received well, and I thought to myself, oh, wow, I could keep doing this, So as the years went on, I kept writing and, I kept developing my style. But from that very first poem I wrote up until, let's say, January or February of this year, most of my poetry was about sadness, loneliness, anger, misery, grief, just all of these like really heavy negative emotions, because it was the only way, writing was the only way that I knew how to process what I was feeling and how to express what I was feeling without kind of encountering shame or guilt or anger. And I think this is mainly because I grew up in a house where my very deep, heavy emotions were not appreciated. So I kind of learned to suppress them as much as I could. And I started to subconsciously feel bad about the fact that I felt this way. And the only way I could justify or allow myself to feel this way was when I was writing, because then it felt like my pain served a purpose, And if you've been following me, or if you've seen any of my other content, then you know that I am in no contact with my family. And I talk a lot about like healing my inner child and kind of working on my mindset and all of that stuff. And for the first time in my life, I have realized that I do not have a heavy weight in my chest. I don't feel depressed, I don't feel lonely, I don't feel unloved, I don't feel unwanted, I don't feel all of the things that I have been feeling since I was conscious enough to be feeling anything, And when I was younger, before it turned into genuine sadness, it more just felt like a disconnect between me and my family and my peers. I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt alienated. But then as I grew older, from about the age of 10 or so, it started to become something that I was very aware of, and it started to make me sad and also angry and guilty, because I didn't fully understand why I didn't fit in, but I knew that I didn't. And I knew that it created a distance between me and the people that I loved the most. And so as I lived throughout my life, that feeling kind of never went away, because my family and I were always at odds, and I didn't really know who I was or what I wanted. I was always masking. I was always pretending to be whatever I thought would gain me approval from people, from my family, from my friends, from my peers, from my teachers, from everyone, And when I finally moved abroad in 2022, that I kind of all came crumbling down, because I was in a new place with new people who actually really wanted to get to know me and connect with me, not my mask, not the things I pretended to be. They wanted me, And I guess I realized that I didn't even know who I was enough to offer them that version, to offer them that person, I was like, who do you want to know? I don't know who you want to know, because I don't know who that is, And then I started my healing journey, and I started figuring out who I was, and I started shedding all of these ideas and all of these beliefs that I had around my identity and my capabilities and even my vision for the future. As I lost all of that and actually started to come into myself, the sadness and the loneliness and the alienation, it all began to dissipate little by little, And now, right now I'm filming this in my own apartment that I pay the rent for with the job I got, full-time job, big girl job that I go to every morning, Monday to Friday. And then I come home and maybe I'll cook some dinner, watch a show, read a book, just take a nap, do laundry, whatever, I do whatever I feel like doing. And especially in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've realized that I'm an adult and I've built this life for myself. And not only am I proud of what I've built for myself, I'm happy about it. I'm happy to be living this life right now. I'm happy to be myself. I don't wake up every morning hating myself, hating the choices I make, or hating the place I am in my life. And so that's landed me to here where I have nothing to write about. Not necessarily that I have nothing to write about. I am writing occasionally, but I used to be able to write like 2 or 3 poems in a week. Now I'll maybe write 2 or 3 poems in a month, if at all. And I was talking to my roommate, who's also an artist. She paints and draws, and she recently did an EP. And she was asking me, like, have you been writing lately? And I told her about this. I told her, like, this is the first time in my life that I'm not like fucking crazy or depressed out of my mind. And she was like, things are changing. And I was like, yeah, things are changing. And as things are changing, so is my relationship with my art. So is my relationship with my writing, my poetry, and the things that I want to do with my life, and the way that I want to show up in the world, not just for myself, but for the people that I love, and, you know, for this community that I'm hoping to build on TikTok. And I have not filmed a video like talking like this in a while, and I just wanted to do it now because this is what I'm currently feeling. This is what I'm currently going through, you know? And I don't know if anybody else relates or anybody else is kind of going through a similar, not struggle per se, but a transformation, I guess is the right word, where, you know, you're kind of in a better place in life and you don't know what your art should be about anymore, you know? Because I feel like the whole tortured artist thing is not glorified but common, you know, and it kind of seems like a great place to get inspiration from, because when you're living in that mindset you think it's forever, and for some people it is forever, you know, but for me it isn't. And now I don't know what to start writing about. I mean, I know that there's lots of possibilities and I don't feel scared. I feel maybe more excited than anything else, but it's also very complicated and it's difficult for me to understand because I've never been in this place before. So yeah, I don't know how many people are going to see this or even watch it the whole way through, but if anybody is currently going through what I'm going through, wants to talk about it together or just figure it out together, please let me know, because I will probably be talking a bit more about what I'm going through with this. So yeah, that's what I had to say. Thank you for listening.